They
That
expect they expect people to pretend they have a a work life balance, but even though they don't.
right. Well, good morning, everybody. This is the Daily Whatever. I am Lawrence Winterman. My lovely co-host Dana Dubois. Say
Look
hello, Dana.
Hi. I'm so excited today, both for our amazing special guest, but also because Lawrence, you're back.
I'm back. I didn't die. I just came very close.
Oh my God, Joe. First of all, let's just say hello.
Hi,
Do you pronounce your last name Gay or Guy?
it's gay. How
That's
did
what
you
I
know
always
that?
thought.
How
Because
did you
the
know?
gay link. Well, because it's a play on words. So welcome everyone to Joe Gay, writer extraordinaire, friend from Medium. I think pretty newish to Substack, yes?
Yeah, I still I haven't fully. It's not that I haven't. I haven't fully embraced it yet. I haven't I haven't found my niche, as it were, because on Medium
Right.
I write so many different things, and but my publication on here is called Recovering People Pleaser,
I
um,
love. Yeah.
Nice.
which fits a lot of topics, but not everything I write about. So yeah.
Right? That is, that's something we should talk about today. The challenge of figuring out how Medium works and then trying to figure out how Substack works. And it is not easy. Um, uh, for a moment, though, Joe, I do have to gush. Lawrence has been out all week with a
Yes.
stomach flu.
Well,
Yeah. So I was so happy to have you back. And as Robin's pointing out, you are looking awesome.
hey, there's nothing like having a stomach flu and starting Manjaro in the same time period. To lose 25 pounds, my beard fell off.
Your beard fell off in such a
Yeah, it
tidy
just
way.
fell off. I woke up one morning and it was just like this, and I was like, "All right, here we go. This is
Oh,
it."
Beth just said, "Can we take a moment to talk about Lawrence's sexy look?" Yes,
Well,
we
thank
are
you, Beth.
taking.
Okay, can I tell you a funny story about this?
Yes,
These
please.
uh so I've always had multifocal contacts, right? Like the
Yeah.
nearsighted, farsighted, same at the same time.
Oh
They've
my
always
God.
worked. In the last week, I've become extremely probopsia. I can't see anything up close, and it's because of the Manjaro. It's because my blood sugar has been regulated so quickly that I'm experiencing something called uh, diabetic retinopathy rebound, which
Mm.
means the blood vessels in the in my retinas are freaked out because they were under stress from all the high blood sugar for so long. So now, apparently, it's temporary, but I can't see if I'm not wearing these readers. So I grabbed a pair at the drugstore, and hopefully they're not terrible. Tell me if you hate them.
No, I love them.
Oh, okay, great.
They look so bright. You know, I have a thing for glasses, especially like laminate glasses. Yours are very nice as well, Joe. Whoa,
At least
what are you doing?
at least they're readers. I've had to wear glasses since I was since I was 12.
Oh man,
Oh, Lawrence is
Joe, I've been
gorgeous.
wearing contacts since I was 13.
Oh, okay.
So I the thing is, I'm doubling up right now. I've got contacts for distance and these for basically everything else.
Yeah.
That's I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either until it happened to me.
Wow. Okay. That's my mind is blown a little. I really like the glasses. I do hope your eyes clear up. And I'm sorry Kira is barking. That's my little dog you're hearing. I cannot give her a treat today as I normally do to quiet her. And I also am going to have to leave a little early because she had surgery a couple months ago and she's having her follow-up x-rays at
Oh,
8:15 this morning. And so she can't eat because they have to put her under for that. So,
oh my.
Poor
right?
puppy.
I know. You know, she's basically going to the day spa the orthopedic vet center, like, when she went in, for her surgery, they were like, "Someone's in there petting her,"
Aw.
like, afterwards offering her
So
all
th-
all the different food types she might want, like, so
this is where you find out if the ACL surgery worked, right?
Yes. Or
Uh-oh. Are you
I'm
worried?
I am. I
Mm.
have no doubt that the surgery worked. But, it was like 2, 3 weeks with one of these on where she was very sedated, and I worked from home, but 3 months of having to keep your dog from jumping on a couch, a bed, or going up and down stairs, that is excessive.
Yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
so she's paged off in here, but she now can move the gate on her own. She's escaped many times, taken stairs and jumped on things many times. So, yes, I am worried she has re-injured her leg. Can you please be quiet or else I'm just gonna bring you on camera.
Aw.
Maybe we should do that today. Um, so
Let's talk to Joe.
let's talk to Joe.
he's
Well,
he's been such a sport sitting here for a couple
I
minutes.
know.
Doesn't matter. This is your guys' daily whatever. It's whatever, right?
It literally came out of the phone conversations that we have every day, and we were like, what if we just did that on camera and let other people listen in to
Ev-
our
ev-
40 plus year friendship?
I mean, you haven't talked every day through your entire lives, have you?
No.
Oh, no, good God.
Good grief.
Ugh.
Lena says Fusen isn't going to be here today. She's going to see her elderly aunt in the hospital. I am here as her replacement. That
Yay,
is so
Lena.
sweet.
I'm so happy to meet you. I mean, I met you in the Discord, but I'm happy to see you here. And I learned that we call Fusen Fufu, which is the cutest thing in the entire world. Like, I love that so much.
Yeah. So Joe, here on the Daily Whatever, we have very regulars in the chat.
Yeah.
And so it is really a conversation. I wish we had a way to have more people come on and actually use their voices to chat. But we tend to read a lot of things back to the chat, so it's captured because the recap of the lives doesn't capture the texts that are coming in. And yeah, so if you hear us reading back, that is why. And oh wow, Musings on Internet Interesting Times says I was paid an obscene sum to sit with a dog following ACL surgery for 6 weeks, 4-digit sum to sit with him on a couch and make sure he didn't jump down. Then it happened to the
You
other
guys are
life,
like, no, that's amazing. I want that gig.
Yeah. That's a good
right?
kid.
And now I'm like, is that what I had to do? Because Mama doesn't have the sort of life where I can sit on a couch with her all the time, even though she would like me to. Um, but wow. And according to Wendy, in 4 months we'll be able to have 5 on a live at once,
Ooh, that's
right?
exciting.
Yes. And Brandon is saying, I've interacted with Joe on Medium, so it's nice to see him here. I know this is the best part of Substack because Medium is a beautiful place for words. It's a great place to write long form ish stories, but here we actually get to meet each other, at least virtually.
Yeah. Totally.
And that is quite a thrill.
Oh,
So, Joe, I would love if you could introduce yourself as a writer. You said you were nicheless, or you write about a lot of topics.
Yeah.
But what are kind of your strong suits? What do you tend to write about the most?
Right. Um, Thank you for having me. Yes,
Mm.
and I'll talk more about this. Lawrence and I were talking about this right before you popped on. I'm Joe Gay, but for about 25 years, I was known as Joe Guay because I was tired of correcting people. I was closeted, and as a kid, and the last thing I wanted was more attention drawn to the fact that I might be gay. But
Wow. Wait, can I pause for a second? I figured it was a pen name. That's
oh no,
your actual last name is Gay.
oh yeah, if it was a pen name, I would have spelled it Gay. Yeah, it's Guay. I guess it's French derivation, but the U is silent. And so as a kid, everybody knew me because of my parents being part of the parish and everything, Catholic school. It's like, well, that's Mr. and Mrs. Gay. This is Joey Gay. And around age 7 already boys were going, and which was fine until any time, I don't know, a sub teacher would come in. You see it, you say, is it Guay or Guay? And then you have to raise your hand and say, no, it's gay. So this went, and I didn't, this was 80s. AIDS was just starting, barely, and all this stuff. I didn't think I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was bad based on this reaction.
Right.
And so, high school, I tried it. I with a teacher, I said I introduced myself as Joe Guay, and it went fine until my dad went to a parent teacher conference, and the guy was like, "I don't have a student with the last name of Guay gay in my class." And my dad came home, "Oh, are you embarrassed by the name and everything?" So
Yes,
finally,
Dad. Yes,
yeah,
I am. For God's sake, how do you not understand this?
it has changed meaning since you were a kid,
Right.
but
It doesn't
but
mean happy anymore.
right. So by the time I went to college, that's when I was like, new break, new people. I'm just going to say it's Joe Guay out of the gate. And then people started loving saying it. Like I would walk into I worked for the newspaper office in college, and I would walk in and like Norm walking into, it was like, Joe Guay, Joe Guay. And they loved saying it. And it just went that way and so I was that for like 25 years because nobody else knew me from before until I went home, you know, and then I'd have to think, who am I talking to? And so it's dumb, but it really is this huge psychological thing that I really do feel like, because I have male relatives with the same last name who were, uh, I guess, who were straight, and it just didn't bother them as much. They dealt with it, and then they moved on or whatever.
Right.
But baggage of therapy. So I write about that. I write about being raised Catholic and gay and not raised gay, being a gay kid. I've written about that. I write about hypocrisy. Some of my best pieces on Medium had to do with mental health because I went through a severe depression and anxiety scare in right at COVID time.
Mhm.
It's a long story, but I got bit by a mosquito, and it was West Nile virus in the middle of COVID.
Oh,
Oh
God.
God.
So nobody believed me. They thought because it was COVID type symptoms. But then I was getting suicidal and things I'd never, ever, ever experienced. So, um,
Are
and I
those
was,
symptoms of West Nile virus?
well, oh, you mean depression and stuff?
Yeah.
For some people, apparently, for a gifted few, but,
The
uh,
lucky few.
but it's funny when the West Nile was happening and it was at its most serious, I had a severe, fever and all these things. And, what was the point? Oh, you would read about the most severe things and it's like paralysis, encephalitis, like for a very tiny few. So it also said severe depression, but in
Okay.
my, that's like, oh, that's nothing. Cause I'd never dealt with severe depression. I thought, oh, well, that doesn't apply to me. And then I completely forgot. And then I got it. So I wasn't a writer yet. I hadn't thought of myself as a writer. So it was after all of that I finally started, creating a little blog on my voiceover website and as a side thing. And then some people introduced me to Medium. And I went to town for like 2 years. But the main things that have gotten the most play have been about I wrote 4 or 5 articles on that mental health side, just things I learned about not judging the suicidal anymore or anything. Um, and then just humor, some humor and travel, things like that. So, and I wrote an article recently that HuffPost picked up, about losing, as a voiceover client. I lost a Canadian client, a really good Canadian client, about 2 months ago in March at the height of the tariff crap. And it was more than the tariffs. It was the "we're going to make you our 51st state" thing that they just wrote me and said, you know what? We're not sending a penny to another American. He said it has nothing to do with your work. Your work is lovely, but we're sorry, we're not sending money to Americans ever again. So
Damn. I'm so sorry about that. And also, I can kind of hear Robin Wilding cheering in the
Yes.
background.
I love Robin's great.
Robin is awesome. She is a very much a regular here. I haven't seen her name, have I?
No, she's here.
She is. Okay, good. I've been
She
keeping an eye on
complimented
the chat.
me, and I was sure to note the compliment.
Oh, yes, 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 she did right at the start. She said how handsome you are looking, which you are.
So, Joe, you do voiceover work. I didn't realize, is that like the entirety of your, do you also do acting, or is it just voiceover and voice acting kind of stuff?
I it's funny. I mean, I'm sure you've heard you're the one with the voiceover voice, even more than me. But
Let's
Lauren,
talk. I'd love to figure out. I mean, I'm sure, is it one of those things that AI is taking it away from everybody?
Yes,
yes, isn't that
that's
fun?
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, Joe, I recently read that story, and I definitely want to talk to you about that one.
Okay.
But please talk about voiceover work first,
Oh
because
yeah.
you have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you. I was a theater guy, a musical theater guy first, and even in LA, but I was the cater waiter, paying the bills for years, kind of existence, which was fine. Um, then I did take the classes, and I started into voiceover. And at that time, it was really hard to break into. It was very clicky. There were what are they called? Gatekeepers. You know, you had to be with the right agent and all this stuff. So of course, the internet leveled all of that, and which is good and bad because I was still living in LA, and the people that had figured it out that were living in um, Iowa or somewhere a less expensive place to live were more than happy to do a commercial for $300 that only took 5 minutes to do. Whereas in LA, you were used to a certain level and a set and this, that, and the other. So, but I've been lucky. I have had it. It has never been the only thing to pay the bills. I've always had to do other things too. But I did reach a point where it was paying about 70 or 80% of my income because I was doing a lot of e-learning clients and things like that. Not so thrilling stuff, a little more what some people would have called boring. But for me, it was so much better than putting on a uniform and passing hors d'oeuvres for 5 hours. You know, I could record my thing at home and just use my normal speaking voice. I didn't have to compete with the zany Simpson character voice people, you know.
Right.
So it's been good, but it's it's only in the last 3 years that it's like, oh, the 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 just pleasant, trustworthy voice stuff I've been doing is the exact stuff that AI can take faster, you know.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Sucks. I just posted a link in the chat to your story. I believe that one's only on Medium, right? The one about
I think
another income stream. Did you put that on Substack yet?
just the other day.
Oh, great. Let me go find it on Substack then.
Yeah, it's my most recent one on Substack.
Perfect. I'll go get that.
Again, it didn't quite fit my little people pleaser moniker, but it's just about what's going on in my life. It's like, hey,
and it's so relatable. Like, I think,
yeah, it's like you came after I used to do transcription work as a side job, Lawrence. And so it's like you came after my first transcription work first. And then I found writing and I was so happy. Oh no. Then I found voiceover. I was so happy. You're coming for that. I found writing on Medium and they're coming for that, but they won't do my dishes, you know?
Right. Yeah, it goes back to that quote that someone somewhere said. I wish I could remember who so I could credit them, but it's basically like, I want AI to mow the lawn and do the dishes so that I can write and paint. I don't want AI to write and paint so that I have time to mow the lawn and do the dishes.
yeah,
Like
Exactly.
that's
no,
Exactly.
and that, Lawrence and I have been talking, behind the scenes of like, what is our point of view on AI? Because what we don't want to be, and I think you agree with this too, Joe, is like just old people being like, AI is dumb. Like, I don't want to be that person. And I don't believe that. I think AI does have purpose. I'm using it to help me edit a story right now. It can be a good idea bouncing person when it doesn't hallucinate, which it does. Um, but also it feels very much like there's this movement toward like, oh yeah, AI is here and it's great and we have to accept it. Especially at my job, I work on a corporate job during my day job. We're getting so much pressure of like, well, optimize that with AI over and over and over from executives that I'm like, what are you even asking us to do?
It's just
And
a
so
buzzer.
far it hasn't taken any of the grunt work away. It's stuff like it is deeply flawed, and I don't understand how people are using it in ways that they think it can like take over driving cars and taking us to the moon. Like I can't get Alexa to reliably pick the right song when I say it.
Right.
Right.
Still,
Right.
still.
I've been using ChatGPT from the beginning, and
Yeah.
I how can anyone release a product that is this buggy and has this many kind of critical mistakes and think that it's ready for prime time? Like it just I can't imagine how it's going to get to a place where I would be like, oh yes, I trust my life or my job to the answer from ChatGPT.
Right. It thinks the big beautiful bill is really good for middle class people. When I googled it, the Google AI bot, and I do have to read this line from Joe. Joe Jo in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm pausing on here before it disappears. I would marry an AI that made me coffee, kept things clean, and told me I had something stuck in my teeth. +1.
Yeah.
Ah,
No,
um,
I mean, speaking of Gen X stuff, I recently rescreened the movie War Games, and I was, which I always loved at the time, and
Yeah.
I
hey,
and it was kind of like, oh, what a nice, and I'm going to write about it. Finally, it's halfway written. It's like, oh, what a fun idea, but now it's like, oh, it's here. It's like,
right.
oh, it's not thinking, but it is, and it's ready to fire the missiles. It's like, fuck. Excuse me.
The only way to win is not to play. Isn't that
Right.
the final line?
Right.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Right. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, the machine learns that playing global thermonuclear war is a losing proposition.
Thankfully.
Right.
Wendy is saying it didn't age well. I was just thinking in my head, I bet that one aged well, not in terms of of course, the technology looks old, but the moral of the story seemed to age well. Did you not think so, Wendy? Wendy and Beth are both saying that.
I thought well,
That's interesting because I watched it not too long ago, and I don't remember if I don't remember what you're talking about that would show that it didn't age well. I'm trying to think if there was like gender conflict or something in it.
I think it's just, I mean, first of all, it's a little slower than the kind of movies we're used to. It takes a little more time, but it's also just the tech in his bedroom, which, he has a plug-in modem and stuff. But it was 1983. The fact
Yeah.
I didn't hear of a modem until 1993. And this
So,
kid, I
yeah,
mean, this,
I had a computer and a modem in 1983, and I remember going to the movies and being like, "Oh my god,
I
can
feel
I
so
hack into the
seen.
school grading system and change my grades?"
right? Because no one else had anything like that. We didn't even have a home computer until 87 or 88. And it was dumb. I mean, what it could do was really dumb.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Do you remember cassettes as the data storage medium, like cassette tapes? I had a computer, and before we had floppy disks, I mean, I guess we had floppy disks too, but eight, not eight track, cassette tapes were a data storage medium, and it was
Okay.
crazy to try to play a game. You'd have to like load the whole, yeah,
Yeah.
nuts.
I was very late to computers, so I did not have any of these things.
And
But I did love war games. And I'm like, I kind of would like to watch that one with my kids if I can talk them into it. They, older movies, they're like, I roll, which I understand. The production values, the pacing, it's very different.
yeah,
You had,
the pacing is different. And the beginning doesn't quite start off in a way to attract. That's the thing that's so interesting. Again, I'm going to write about it. It's not even though there are teens on the cover, it's not a teen movie. I mean, it's it's
yeah,
not it's not an 80s teen movie. It's not like, 16 Candles or something.
right.
It's two teens who get thrown into a very adult situation. And
Right.
so it kind of throws you. You're like, you're watching it as a kid and you're like, oh, this is serious, you know?
Yeah. Um, it was, I remember like Matthew Broderick brought a lot of charm to that role. It was really good.
He's so believable in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's before Ferris, so
Yeah.
he's very so believable. And as much, I don't know why people loved to dog on Ali Sheedy and everything. She is very believable in that movie too. You know,
I
she's
forgot that was Ali Sheedy. I was
yeah,
like, who? In my head, I transposed and was like, Sarah Jessica Parker. And I'm like, no, that's his wife. But not, she was not in War Games.
yeah,
I was trying to remember who it was. It was Ali Sheedy. Okay.
she's good in it. I mean, she's just very believable as a teen who's they're not trying to be all romantic
Right.
at first. They're just hanging out and it's believable.
Right.
And
Yeah. And the momster here is saying pacing, the audience was captured. You didn't have to get to the point. Yeah, that's just a attention span and an era thing that movies from back in the day are far slower. So to my kids, they seem a little dull, but when they can get into it, like they really liked The Breakfast Club, they just sort of went with it. That like this is a very dialogue heavy movie that isn't going to cut away and have a lot of action. And they really liked it.
no
Um,
music, no music montage.
right?
Right. Right.
Though most of the ones in the era sure did have those, huh? Oh, we need to do an episode on movies, Lawrence, because my head is bursting. But also, for those who missed it earlier, I'm going to have to drop a little early because I have to get my dog to the vet. And before I go, I really do want to talk to you about the story that
Yes.
you sent to Gen Xie. I put it in the chat, how the chat's moving so quickly. It's already off the front page. So I'll put it here again. It's a story called Finding That Rainbow Connection. And I don't think there's a person within spitting range of our ages who doesn't hear that and go, "Oh," because that song packs such an emotional wallop. For anyone Gen X and surrounding. I love this story. It's charming. We are having a week here on Gen XC of talking about music
Mm,
because we are lightening the mood a bit after the political like of the last however many months.
yeah.
And this story really it just hit with the charm. Like, I would love for you to talk about, like, what's sparked in your head to make you think of this memory and to bring it up as this story.
Um, it's funny. I I had wanted to find something literally for Gen Xy for a while because
Oh,
I had written a story right before I was aware of Gen Xy. I had written a story about how as a Gen Xer I have so few photos of me in my 20s and
yes, you read that
how
one.
different that is from anyone after us. Because we didn't carry around cameras, people didn't want to spend money on developing film and all this stuff. So I have so few. And so Gen Xy arrived and I said, oh, that would have worked there.
Yeah,
But then I don't know. I have a long list of things that I will write about someday. And that was always sitting there like, what is the deal with this song? Why did it mean so much to me? And it's funny. I thought it was, I literally thought it was only me, not only me, but I didn't think, I don't know. I thought because of adulthood and people that it was cheesy. It was the Muppets. People didn't care anymore or anything. But, it was the first movie I saw in the movie theater that really, that stayed with me because I came home and I was like, I gotta get the record. And I write about this in the story. I bought
yeah,
the record and I was expecting the whole movie to be on the record, the dialogue, everything, and it was just the songs. And I was expecting like a laserdisc experience via audio or something. Um, so uh, I don't know if it's be I I don't know if it's because I ultimately went on to really love doing theater and stuff like that. All the messages about the lovers, the dreamers, and me, and searching for something. It's really odd that it hit me strongly at 6, you know, at
right,
age 6. But for me, also, the final line of the movie is even more so, where it starts in on just Kermit, and it does this big craning shot out, and he's surrounded by like 90 Muppets, and he's like Life's like a movie, write your own ending. Keep believing, keep pretending. We've done just what we've set out to do. Thanks to the lovers, the dreamers, and you. And
Oh, I just got goosebumps. I
it's
forgot
beautiful.
about that.
It's beautiful. So that got me more. But anyway, I was always aware of it. And then in high school, I became the guy that was always singing at the masses and, uh, and I was not at the masses, at the Catholic masses.
Both the homonyms are great. Both work.
and I was, doing the shows. And so a friend of mine played the guitar. And then one day he came home, our senior year, he was always futzing with instruments. He came home with a banjo. And the only song I knew, besides a Dolly Parton song that had a banjo, was that one. And he promptly learned it and started singing it a lot in the basement, along with More Than Words by Extreme. More Than Words, because you harmonize.
Yep.
It was that exact time. It was like 1991. And
totally remember that song.
so we, I don't know. I really pressed to be able to ask to sing it at graduation, since I was already known as the singing guy. I thought it was kind of cool, and the fact that Jim Henson had just died like a year before.
Wow.
And so that I don't think everybody got the point, but I felt like especially not in my class, because it's not like every kid watched Sesame Street as much as you thought they did, but the parents got it. The parents were like, "Oh my God, I remember when the song came out and that kid over there was 5 and now they're 18," and they were crying. So, so it just kind of stuck with me. And then it just became a song I would whip out at karaoke about, when I was in my 30s and 40s, and again, expecting people to be like, ugh, at least half of them would be like, oh, and it would hit them. And I had some guy, he's a writer on Medium. He lives in Barcelona now. He has his whole life story as a musician, and his struggles with drugs and stuff. And he commented on my story. He's just like, "Oh man, I was at this rock concert and they decided to play a version of that song and half the audience melted." So it had more of a reach than I realized.
Joe, I gotta ask, do you sing it in the Kermit voice?
I do. I don't sing like Kermit. I can't fully. I could.
Someday you'll find it. The rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
That's good, Lawrence. I don't think I knew you did such a good Kermit.
I used to do a good Miss Piggy when I was younger. I used to be able to. She was my favorite. Imagine that.
I was gonna say, if you fuck a lot of frogs, that is eventually you end up singing in the Kermit voice.
T-shirt material, Lawrence.
Right.
That song, Joe, as you were talking about your graduation,
yeah,
and playing that, and when I read it, like I teared up. Like I both as a person who can remember when Jim Henson died. Like I remember where I was. I was early in college in my apartment, and I saw that he'd passed, and I choked up. I cried because I was like, even then I had a sense of like, why do only the good die young? Sorry about Billy Joel, but like this was someone who had so much to offer the world, right?
Yep.
Like, why him and how? And because he'd meant so much to my childhood. Like I was obsessed with The Muppet Show growing up, which everyone should have been obsessed with The Muppet Show. The show is fucking hilarious, even now.
It was great.
Going back and watching it.
It's irreverent. It's so irreverent,
It is. And he really understood more than anybody that the parents were there watching too and wanted to be entertained, but also that the kids got it. Like kids don't need it dumbed down. And the Rainbow Connection is so sweetly earnest, right? Like there aren't that many songs that could pull those lyrics off without sounding sort of maudlin.
Yeah.
And it's Paul Williams. He's the one who wrote it, isn't it?
Yeah.
who was practically, well, I don't want to say that. That will sound offensive, but he was so integral to the Muppet Show, and to all of our childhoods. And there's a radio station out here in Seattle called KEXP. It's also a broadcast around the world. I don't know if people know it, but local, independent. It's been around for, decades. And every now and then the morning show guy, John, who's been on for years, will play the Rainbow Connection, like on the drive into work.
Wow.
Because he's our age. And I had my kids in the car last time I heard it. And I remember being so struck by the verses because everyone remembers the first verse.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, that one like packs a wallop all the way through, doesn't it? About like the time is now. You'd better go pursue your dreams. It's really quite a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to pull up the lyrics because I don't remember all of them. So kudos to you as a young man, teenager, for recognizing how that would hit your target audience at graduation, which is the parents.
Right. I mean, I guess I realized more now. It became apparent seeing their reaction, at the time. I think it was more like, look at me, I'm singing. But, because I was 17. But yeah, but I was aware, I was sad. I was sad that he was gone because I had loved, I didn't like the Muppets Take Manhattan at all, to be completely honest, but I loved the Muppet Caper and that one. And then I was not a Fraggle Rock person, but the cartoon Muppet.
Oh my God, Fraggle Rock. I forgot about that. I forgot about that until right now, Joe.
I just liked the song, the worries for another day.
I just want to point out in the chat, Wendy and Fusen are fighting over who's fucked more frog. Girls, you're both pretty.
And also Lawrence has.
I mean, Fusen's making Fufu is making a strong case that she's the winner, and I won't debate her on that. But
I see both Frederick and the Opinionated Ogre go by here too.
Yeah.
Hi, wow, so many folks here today. Thank you for joining us. Can I read these lyrics because they're going to make you cry too? Verse 3 with the change in the chorus is, I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to speak it. Have you been half asleep and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailor? That voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. And someday we'll find it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. I'm getting all the goosebumps of like, it is a call to action after he's stargazing and hoping and wishing. He's like, the voice is rising in me and I can't ignore it anymore. And all the creatives out there.
Them some great lyrics. That's some good songwriting there. Who actually wrote it? Was it Jim Henson who wrote this song?
No, it was Paul Williams.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember him? He was
Sure.
Yeah. He was always on the Muppet Show. And I think he wrote quite a few of the songs, but I should verify that. No, it was written by Paul Williams and Kenneth Asher, who I don't know who Kenneth is, but Williams described it as, hold on, that down home Americana comfort sound. It's the one that establishes Kermit as the lead character. This is quoting Paul in a story about the song. We find Kermit sitting in the middle of a swamp and thought Kermit is like every frog. He's the Jimmy Stewart of frogs. So how do we show that he's a thinking frog and that he has an introspective soul and all that good stuff? It seemed like it would be a place where he would see a rainbow and that he would be on a spiritual path examining life and the meaning of life. And it was nominated for an Academy Award and Kermit performed it at the ceremony. We should go back and find that video.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't think I ever heard it.
And I was thinking about this as I was pondering my interview here. I was thinking yesterday that there's some recording of Karen Carpenter singing it too, right before, obviously, because she was only with us a few years after that. It's not as good as Kermit's, but she's, she did it. So
there it is.
Yeah.
God, the internet is miraculous.
But I was, I didn't think it ever had like other adults doing it or pop people. And I don't know. Yeah. And I just was realizing this too as we were talking. I also, I guess it's just the wonder of childhood. It took me forever to realize that the voices of Ernie and Bert were the exact same as Kermit and Fozzie. They were to to me they were totally different universes. And my mom was like, "No, they're the same voices. It's the same people." I was like, "No, no, it's not." So
I
anyway,
think you just wrecked my childhood right now in real time, but thanks for that.
well, they sound the same.
They do sound the
They
same.
do sound the same.
Ernie was pulled I can't do it, but, like, way back further here. No, maybe Bert was pulled further back. I feel like they distinguished them somehow. Bert kinda had, like, up nasal more, but it's just him using his voice differently,
Well,
right?
you're right. I mean, Bert and Fozzie had the same voice, but Bert was more like disgruntled all the time, and Fozzie was happy. So it's
That's
interesting.
true.
Uh,
That's true. So you got the chat is really going crazy here today, and I'm yeah, the momster says Joe just blew my mind. So you did just ruin a few childhoods, or maybe enhance a few childhoods. Beth said now my childhood is destroyed even more. But I think there's just like too much going on. I'm responsible for Frederick's descent into loyalty card addiction.
Yeah, it's a chat
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, you leave the chat for a second, and look what happens.
I don't know how you guys do that. I don't. I know you're old pros, but I don't know. I don't know how I could conduct an interview and watch 90 people commenting at the same time. I mean, that's insane.
Well, it's
It's
only 30, but they post like it's 90.
Right.
It's 2 screens, so the
Yeah.
phone has you on it and then glancing up at the screen here. I will say, Lawrence, while you were out the last 3 days, it was a little harder to keep track of the chat. One of many
It
reasons
is
why I
hard.
don't. And I hate to do this, but I'm gonna need to drop and go get Kira to her doctor appointment. Um,
Which
Joe
means we have an opening on the panel if anyone wants to jump on and talk to me and Joe for the last 15 minutes. So,
yes, we
shout out
do.
in the chat because I've got the power.
Joe, please keep writing on well, I mean, please keep writing. I know you're very prolific on Medium. If there's anything I've learned from coming to Substack is that it has thwarted my writing, and I keep saying that. I will have a new story coming soon, I swear. But please come write more on Substack and write more for Gen Xie. You're a great voice
Thank you.
to have. We are slowly opening up to additional voices, and yours. I love this story. I just think it's so sweet. It
I'm
really
happy
is.
about that because I'm often complaining about things or stuff. So yeah, I was happy to write that.
No, you're a sweet guy, I can tell. You just can't deny it. Even when sweet people can complain too. There's certainly a lot to complain about in the world.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna drop and I hope I can leave and come back and listen while I'm
You
driving.
should be able to.
So don't say anything bad about me or I'm gonna hear it.
Oh damn.
All right.
Put it in the
Well,
chat
then
when
I don't
I
know what
know.
we're going to talk about for the last 15 minutes, Joe.
And please come back on the daily whatever again. It's been awesome having you here.
Yeah, I'll
Lawrence,
hang
I'm
out.
so happy. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll hang out in the chat.
Yeah. Please do. All right. Love you all. Mean it. Somebody else
Love
took
you.
my
Good luck to
place.
Kira. Fingers crossed that you didn't
All
break
the
your dog.
fingers are crossed. Bye. I'm looking for the little X. If I don't let's see.
Oh, here, I can do it.
Kick me
Bye.
out. Bye.
I was like, I'll do it. Glock. Joe, how the hell? Now that she's gone, let's get into it.
Yes.
So I asked for volunteers, and Wendy said something about memes over and over again. She said meme. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull Wendy on screen. Joe, have you met Wendy before?
I don't know. I don't think. I'm not
Uh,
sure.
you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat.
Certainly not on video.
Uh, this has been so much fun, Joe. I'm glad that you wrote for us. I'm glad we had a chance to get to talk to you. And Wendy, how you doing?
That was entirely by accident. I literally just tried to type me one time, and I was in the middle of an article.
Girl, don't lie to me.
No.
I know you. You're the pick me girl. Pick me, me.
Oh,
Joe, this is Wendy. Wendy, this is Joe. The druid has entered the chat, says the opinionated ogre. Yes.
I love that name. Opinionated ogre. That's perfect.
Yes, opinionated ogre is definitely opinionated. Not so much of an ogre, except for the sock puppet that he uses to do lives with. A brilliant and good guy, and a great dad, and definitely opinionated about modern politics, which is, kind of all of us at this point. Voice of a generation. Wendy, what can you tell us about the full moon today?
Oh shit. I actually need to cook food tonight because of the moon change.
Oh,
And so that's like a druid thing or whatever.
Did you say you need to cook food tonight because of the
Yeah,
moon?
food. Yeah, my reader, Funny Farm Aaron, is going to be accuse me of food porn later because when the
Ooh,
full
food
moon,
porn.
yeah, food porn. When the full moon changes, I have to cook druid food. So
Is there a ceremony? Like, being serious, is there like a ceremony for the
so
full
I
moon?
did, like when Karen and I did our love live or whatever the other day. I explained that. So druids function on the wheel. The wheel is a giant circle. So basically, the 4 points, which are the equinoxes, and then the four other points, which are the season changes. And then
mm.
there's intermittent festivals that happen in between there for when the lunar changes happen.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, you have to cook copious amounts of food to celebrate. So, like Imbolic, Beltane, salmon, Yule, Mabon, Lanagosh, and then back to Imbal, all the way around. And so, that's a very druid thing to do, or whatever, is to cook food. The mother of the earth, inspires us to
Hmm.
cook and feed people and heal people. And the way we do that is by making food and then forcing people to eat it.
Do Wendy,
Okay.
I don't know anything about a lot of that. Um, do you feel the changes of the moon in the sky and everything?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
energetically?
That's a key element of coming up as a druid, is feeling and understanding the natural flow and changes in the cycles. I mean, those are regular occurrences. And so, coupled with all of the other things that you do, that you're encouraged to do, is what makes you a druid. So, yeah, like, I get upset when, like, weird ecological shit happens. Like the Swedish guy that bought the clear cutting farm down in Brazil,
Mm.
400 acres of forest, and a Swedish industrialist bought the farm, and then literally he just bought it to shut it down so they'd stop clear cutting trees.
Oh,
Like, I
so
read
good.
that,
So
and
it's a good story. It's a happy
yeah,
ending. Not like
and I
he bought
cried,
400
like I
acres
cried
and
about it.
leveled it.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
that's the kind of thing. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that.
Okay, Wendy, here's a question. I don't know how we, like, Wendy joined and we instantly went like druidic and
Yeah,
astrological.
right.
Is the zodiac the same in druidic tradition?
No, those are parallel traditions, like the tarot tradition, and the Nordic. There are elements of the Nordic traditions that we share, but I mean that's all just tribalism, you know, at one form or another. Um,
I mean,
versus,
I think I've said this to you before that, when I was studying, I studied with a friend of mine who's a shamanic practitioner, and at some point I realized, like, oh, like, Judaism, like some of the deepest traditions of Judaism, it's really just shamanism. It's really
yeah,
just magic by another name,
yeah.
basically. Like, in Chinese culture, it all got codified as, like, the I Ching and the Chinese zodiac and acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine, and they didn't have a church and a like Western scientific revolution that crushed all of their sort of herbalist and kind of magic folklore traditions up until Mao, and but we did all of.
So there's an interesting parallel to that. When I became fluent in Hebrew, um,
Mm.
I read a lot of lateral Hebraic texts. Like when you read the Talmud and you understand what's in the Talmud. There are references even to those traditions. In the Talmud, they talk about the Hebrew golem tradition, for instance, not exclusively and not consistently, but they mention it. And so there are early Judaic traditions that occur, and they're like, it's out there kind of stuff. It really is, and it's fascinating. And so, and then too, when I became fluent in Greek, I did the same thing. A lot of the early cross Greek texts that happened before the church decided to write. Joe, there's a whole conversation.
No,
What
but I
what
can't
did you do when you became fluent in Greek and Hebrew?
say that again.
I said, Joe, what did you do when you became fluent in Greek and Hebrew?
Well,
I'm
that's what I
mocking
wanted
Wendy.
to ask. I was like, this man is like on another level of
Oh no,
life exploration.
woman.
Sorry, Joe, woman.
Thank you. You did say Wendy.
Um,
He's on another level.
yeah, I have a very weird history, and I'm a polyglot. There's 9 of them, not just Hebrew, Greek, and Latin.
And
I'm trying to think of a joke about so many tongues and Wendy being a slut. Can't quite come up with one on the fly.
Right. So, for instance, the geopolitical that I wrote today on Thistle and Moss, I basically took Hitler's 5 biggest Christian referencing speeches,
yeah,
paralleled that language against speeches that Trump has given that parallel the exact same parallels. It's literally, in at least 2 of the cases, as though Trump read Mein Kampf and line for line dragged that out. And so the parallels between Hitler's rhetoric versus Trump's rhetoric have reached that parallel. And so now they're literally on top of each other.
I mean, yeah, doesn't surprise me. Between Stephen Miller and Musk and all of the fucking Nazi-loving fools that they've got up in that administration, I'm not remotely surprised. Ogre says he's fluent in English and vulgarity. Me too. Although Ogre might be the PhD in vulgarity. I'm merely like at a bachelor's level in vulgarity compared to Ogre.
Ogre, that means I have to ask you, does that mean that you trained Jeff Tiedrick?
He's pretty good at it too. That's true.
Because he and I have conversations, and Jeff will tell me when you cuss more than I do, and I'm like, I don't see how it's possible.
I'm pretty convinced that living in modern times, the only rational, if you're a thinking person, the only rational accommodation to dealing with what we're dealing with is swearing. There aren't enough words to express how fucked up shit is right now.
No, I readily agree. I 100%. I'm 100% with you.
Joe, I don't know if Dana told you, but we have this tradition on a daily whatever. When guests come on, we ask them. Oh, except we didn't do this to Wendy, so I'm kind of rubbing her nose in it a little bit. Sorry, Wendy.
Nah.
The ultimate Gen X song. What, in your opinion, is the ultimate Gen X song?
Oh, the ultimate Gen X song. I should have so prepared for this.
And you can't say the Rainbow Connection because we just spent.
Oh no. I think that whole "Take on Me," take on me, take.
Okay, you know what? I'm into it. I'll buy it because that is on my list somewhere. And I've been dying for somebody to say that as their song. I fucking loved that song when it came out.
Yeah, and when it comes on, when it comes on, it makes me think. I think it was one of the very first videos on MTV. So it really makes me think of that. That it was one of the very first MTV things. I
Yeah.
I don't
Which song is?
take on. I don't remember who
Take
sang.
on Me by Aha.
Okay.
That wasn't one of the first.
Right.
Oh,
That
But
was like in the
it,
first year. But
oh,
it,
yeah,
it was one of the, I remembered as being one of the first animated videos, just
yeah,
the sketch drawing come to
yeah. The
life. It
sketch
was
drawing thing was awesome.
absolutely an epic video.
yeah. And I don't know. This is not an ultimate, like, it doesn't define the generation or anything. But when I hear the beginnings notes of "Careless Whisper" by George
George
Michael
Michael.
with the
Yeah.
saxophone and everything, it's just so from a time. And
Yeah.
and the last thing I'll say, this is not define a generation, but I know you guys all talked about it just recently. And I wrote a whole story. For some reason, Tiffany's "I Think We're Alone Now" was a very, 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 very big part of my life in 1987, and I couldn't figure out why. Uh, and I didn't
It's
know.
because you wanted to pull the football jock behind the bleachers and kiss him on the face.
Guess so. And I didn't know it was a remake. I thought it was
Yeah, I don't think anybody realizes that song was a remake from the
I
right.
for I mean, the first like 20 years of my life, I had no idea that was
Me either. Me either. My mother ruined it for me and the same with. I mean, I stupidly thought I saw him standing there was her original song too, and it was a Beatles thing. But yeah,
those are good ones.
I would say "Take on Me."
Yeah.
See, my answer to that question is very unlikely, and nobody gets it. Maybe if I
Well,
tell you the answer to the question, Lawrence, you'll get it, but most people don't get it.
I mean, tell us, try us out. We've got 2 minutes.
Gerard McMahon's "Cry Little Sister."
Oh my God, I have no idea what that is.
What?
I don't.
Have you ever seen The Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the title song from the Lost Boys soundtrack. And it's one of those songs, when you hear "Cry Little Sister," it gets into the chorus line, and then you'll be like, oh my God, I did not know that's what the fuck that was.
that whole movie is so unique and so 80s, just with the soundtrack alone.
So 80s.
Just with the soundtrack.
I'm surprised we haven't talked so far. Dana, we have to make a note. We should compile a list of all the 80s songs that had the saxophone solo in the middle. Do you remember that trope?
Yes. Yes.
That was
Think
a very like of the moment kind of, there's a song and then suddenly there's like a sax solo in the middle of it.
a lot of them.
So
All right, my friends. Well, we're at the top of the hour, and I'm so happy to be back, minus a beard and 25 pounds. Here's a diet tip, everybody. Get the stomach flu and start Manjaro in the same time period, and you too can miraculously lose 25 pounds in a matter of 2 weeks. So,
I
yeah.
honestly, I heard that, Lawrence. I felt really bad for you.
Well, thank you. It was super not fun. Yes, avoid at all costs if you can. But here's to being human and being alive. So, Joe, thank you so much for joining us. Awesome having you here. We loved your story, and please come back again in the future. Wendy, thank you for shouting, "Pick me, pick me, pick me," and jumping on screen and giving us a lesson in Druidic culture. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, always happy.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Love you. Mean it. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.